days of Halloween.
You know how there are those moments in life in which you are presented with a choice and you feel that you can't win. I suspect that the rest of my life will feel that way. My situation, as unique as it may be, is completely my own fault. I recognize that. That doesn't stop it from being needlessly cruel. It all began with an innocent break-in perpetrated by yours truly. I'd broken into an outwardly elegant mansion. The inside was very well kept and stocked with the most expensive of furniture, flooring, countertops, toilets, mind you, but something felt amiss. In hindsight, I feel that how easy the front door gave way to my foot should have been the first sign that something was wrong. I'd managed to empty some items of interest, a couple of money stacks and a laptop, both of which were found in a home office area downstairs, and then made my way up to the upper floor. There is a saying that goes something like, assuming makes an ass out of you and me. Well, in this case, assume makes one of us dead. Yeah. The owner was home. As it turns out, no cars in the driveway is not a clear-cut indication that the residence is empty. The old guy came barreling out of his bedroom and got a hard-framed certificate to the head. I only meant to knock him out at worst. It isn't my fault that the elderly are so fucking fragile. I didn't check the rest of the manor. I just couldn't bring myself to do so. Within 24 hours, the police were knocking at my door and presenting me with some shiny steel cuffs. They were cufflinks in a sense, but not the kind that I wanted to be able to afford. I'm expecting to get sent to a cold, hard cell, but I find myself at a law office. It turns out that the police had brought me before the codger's personal lawyer. The police officer stood beside me, still cuffed, as the lawyer read me the will of one very recently deceased, Edgar Westbrook. The suit tells me that I have two choices, with the first being to go to prison for life. He assured me that Edgar had greased enough palms to ensure that sentence would befall me should I choose to go to trial. The second, and likely equally illegal, option was that I inherit Westbrook's wealth. Sounds pretty fucking awesome, right? But then the lawyer reads the terms. Should I choose option 2, I must live in the mansion, make a will which would name my killer as my beneficiary, with the exact two same options offered to him or her, and I must put out an ad in the newspaper at the start of every month stating my place of residence and the beneficiary condition of my will. Should any of those terms be breached, then hello doghouse for me. Not so awesome now, is it? I went with option 2 because freedom When the police dumped me off at my new home and slapped an ankle bracelet on me, it really hit home how both options were prison. Except one came with a life sentence, and the other a sentencing of death. I feel like a fucking moron now, realizing that I chose death over a life sentencing. Technically, I could just leave and get sent to prison, but that somehow seems more final than the potential death that awaits. In the end, it just boils down to hoping for decency in others. In relation to decency, I found a note left to me. Well, not to me, but the killer of Edgar Westbrook, which just so happens to be me. It went on about how old Edgar might not be able to have his cancer cured, but he would be able to treat the cancer that is his hometown's society. I must admit, that note makes me feel like I've chosen poorly. I guess what it all boils down to is, please don't kill me. An old man walked onto the doorstep and rang the doorbell. A man in his mid-30s with brown eyes and black hair answered the door. The man and the old man walked for a ways before arriving to a slab of cement with 4 columns jutting from it. A word was not spoken until they arrived. I appreciate the help. I've been trying to finish this for a week, spoke the old man. The younger man turned to meet the gaze of the old man's dimming blue eyes. Sure, maybe this will help me get my mind off of my daughter. 9, right? How long has she been missing? She's 8, and it's been 7 days. Shame. Maybe she'll show up soon. It was after this conversation had concluded that the younger man noticed a pungent odor that seemed to be coming from the cement slab. What is that smell? He asked. Strong and nasty, isn't it? The cement mix had quite a smell. I believe I used a bit too much. The smell should disappear in time, he replied casually. The 2 men worked without exchanging any more words. They parted ways at dusk, and they would meet in the same fashion and follow the same routine until the shed was finished 4 days later. Upon the shed's completion, the 2 men went to the old man's house for dinner. The young man sat at the mahogany table as instructed by the old man, and waited patiently as the old man fired up the stove and fetched him a drink. What's for dinner anyway? Asked the younger man. Something very special, the old man replied, emphasizing the word special. The man took a drink of his root beer. It tasted out of date, but he kept on drinking due to his thirst, thinking about his daughter all the while. The old man walked back into the dining room and found the younger man passed out and smiled. The basement door opened and light shone in for the first time all day. The old man placed a plate at the top of the stairs and looked down at the 8-year-old girl at the bottom. "I miss Daddy," she said softly from the bottom of the basement. He might be closer than you think," the old man replied with a smile and a quick glance toward the plate. The girl cautiously ascended the steps and grabbed the plate. The old man watched with fascination as the girl dove into her meal, face first. He was taking care of her now, but hopefully she would come to take care of him when he progressed to the point of not being able to function by himself. He'd always wanted a daughter, and now he had one. After the girl had finished her meal, she handed the plate back to him. "Do you know that was, sweetie?" he asked, knowing full well that she did not. "No." "That was your old daddy. I had to get rid of him so that I could be your daddy. I decided to get rid of him in a way that he'd always be with you." The little girl began to sob as she came to realize the gravity of what had transpired. The old man shut the basement door and locked it, leaving her alone in the dark.